This Iowa Corn 350 powered by Ethanol Betting Picks 2025 edition of the NASCAR Gambling Podcast here on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog. Get up to a $1,000 deposit match when you sign up at UnderdogFantasy.com. Promo code RACESGPN.
Driver, start your engine!
Strap in and pull those belts up tight as the Sports Gambling Podcast Network presents the NASCAR Gambling Podcast.
I'm just gonna put my foot on the floor and I'm not lifting till I see God or a checkered flag.
My man.
With all the news and the best bets for your NASCAR weekend.
We want to thank you tonight for these mighty machines that you brought before us. Thank you for the Dodges and the Toyotas. Thank you for the Fords. Lord, I want to thank you for my smoking hot wife tonight, Lisa. In Jesus' name, boogity, boogity, boogity.
Now, here are your hosts, Rod Villagomez and Cody Zeeb.
Welcome in to another episode of the NASCAR Gambling Podcast here on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. He's Cody Zeeb. I'm Rod Villagomez, and this week we're going to Iowa, baby. Field of Dreams, where magic happens and where we're going to have a NASCAR race with, cross your fingers, Cody, no rain.
Yes, I will be crossing my fingers for that part of it. Does magic happen in Iowa, Rod? I don't know.
The rivalry runs strong,
glad to see that they have a race. It does. It's really hard for me because Iowa's got some great things, right? Legalized gambling. Every time I cross the border, it's amazing. You can just do it on your phone. Here, you kind of have to work for it. They've got a lot of great racing, a lot of local dirt tracks over there and fun stuff. They've got, of course, Iowa Speedway, which I'm very sad I'm not going to make it to this weekend, but is a great place. And yeah, their corn sucks. They suck at football, but other than that, here we are.
You know what? It's okay because I feel like that's the exact same way that I feel about the Dodgers. Like, there's no way on God's green earth that I can say anything good about it. I know the wife and I, it's a hot contention point because she is a Dodgers fan and I'm a Giants fan, and it just,
Ooh, house divided. I did wear my Iowa shirt, Rod, from the Corn Belt 150, the truck race, the dirt race at Knoxville a couple of years ago that I went to, which top 5 race I've ever been to personally in my life. Watching the Craftsman Truck Series, or at the time the Camping World Truck Series, might have even been the Gander Series at the time, doesn't matter. Race at the dirt track at Knoxville was absolutely freaking
Well, I
amazing.
am wearing my favorite Iowa Inhabitants shirt of the fantasy football, old-fashioned fantasy.
Perfect segue, Rod. I'll be joining them tomorrow talking about the New England Patriots, baby. It's a busy week for football talk, Patriots talk. Going to be on OFF tomorrow. Old-fashioned football. Check them out. Talking about some best bets, fantasy angles, all that with Justin and Miranda. Then I'm going to be on the big show, the Sports Gambling Podcast. They're doing their 32 teams currently, and the Patriots are coming up on Thursday, I do believe it is. So I'll be joining them live Thursday. Pumped for that.
And a perfect segue for that, Cody, because the Sports Gambling Podcast is back with their 32 NFL team previews. Catch Cody on the next one for the Pats. Look at it. It's like we've done this 651 times before. They're also bringing back the phrase that pays. So pay attention because each episode they're going to give out one word of a 32-word phrase. Submit that phrase for a chance to win a $1,000 circa future. Cody, if you got to talk them into letting you give the word out for all of our NASCAR gambling folks that are watching.
Oh, yes. I should have, got behind the scenes and helped make sure we crafted the word to be like some type of racing word, but probably a little too late. It's already been decided. But
how about a word
okay.
like tires? So, new tires. Busch, Cedric Briscoe tested
tires.
in June.
Oh yeah. We're gonna talk about tires for sure. Boji Joe, by the way. Oops, sorry. One more thing. Saying Arnold's Park. That is another great thing about Iowa. It's a old amusement park that they have there that I grew up going to a bunch as a kid. Gone back there as an adult. Great place. And my grandpa's from Iowa, so I'll give them credit for
Good
that.
stuff. Boji Joe already calling Chase Elliott to win. Let's talk about that later. But we do have some kind of news to get to. And first and foremost, I want to take Ash's comment because this was one that is going to impact the rest of the truck season as well. Ash saying, "Evening lads, different series, but wishing Stuart Friesen a speedy recovery. Who would replace him for the remainder of the season if you didn't catch it?" Especially in the Discord too. There's a post that Cody put up there. A horrific wreck for Stuart Friesen.
Just brutal. He was racing last night in Canada. If you don't know much about Stuart Friesen, he and his wife Jessica, they both are big modified racers on dirt. And we get, there's a lot of hype around, oh, Kyle Larson races 10 different places a week. Like Stuart Friesen does the same thing, and his wife does. She doesn't do quite as much as him, but she does a lot as well. So they were racing in Canada last night. Stuart caught the cushion up high, basically flipped up into the air violently, landed on the concrete wall. The car caught on fire. That was horrific in and of itself. Then the car came back down onto the track into the cars that were still on the track, got hit again, absolutely fucking destroyed the car. And it's violent. It's horrible looking. You never want to see that. The good thing, is in a general sense, he's okay. He's alive. Looks like he's going to be able to heal fine, right? Going to take some time. He's got a lot of injuries, but the safety that we do have in these cars absolutely is, paramount, and it's great to see. So his wife, Jessica, shared an update this morning. CT scans have come back clear of any head, neck, or spine injuries. Unfortunately, still in a tremendous amount of pain. He suffered an unstable open book pelvic fracture, meaning his pelvic is broken in 2 or more places with a large hematoma in the area. He also fractured his right leg. Both of these injuries will require surgery. He was transferred to a larger hospital this morning for those procedures. Vitals are stable, blah, blah, blah. He's in better spirits and resting. So, first of all, thoughts out to Stuart Friesen and the family, and in a speedy recovery. Hopefully, things heal up well, the surgeries go well, all of that. And then secondarily to that, I would imagine probably the end of his racing year. Sucks he just locked himself into the playoffs a couple of weeks ago, getting that win. So we're going to miss out on a playoff run. I would imagine the 52 truck will still run. They'll still be racing for owners' points. And somebody, I think it was Ash, asked who will they put in that truck? That's a great question. It's interesting. It's a Toyota truck. Do they try and call somebody like an Eric Almirola? Hey, come pilot this, something like that. Could this be an opportunity for a Ryan Truex? I don't know where they're at for, because sponsorship doesn't seem to be as big of a thing on there. It's basically Halmar is on the truck, which is a Halmar Friesen truck. So, maybe you are able to get a guy like a Ryan Truex. I think that would be great to see him finish out the season. But who it's going to be, don't know. They haven't decided. Trucks are not racing this week, so they don't have to hurry up and rush anybody in. So again, first and foremost, we just hope that Stuart's okay and the surgeries go well and the recovery goes well. But secondarily to that, we'll have to see how it goes when it comes to who's going to drive that 52.
Yeah, that's going to be a very interesting story as it plays out. I know Jess's ears were burning because we were pulling up the trucks. So Jess, afternoon to you as well. Here's the thing about that, right? And when you look at the safety measures that autosports or motorsports has taken in general over the course of its existence, to see something like that, like if you saw that on the freeway, they're all dead. Like everybody's gone in that situation, right? But the way that these racecrafts are built, you could take and withstand that and come out with a few broken bones and a little hematomas. And I mean, it's not little, but you know what I mean? Like it's crazy to think that that's all you walk away with.
Comparatively to, yeah. It's little comparatively to how bad that wreck like that looks. So yeah, safety, of course, motorsports is a dangerous sport. Nobody's saying that it isn't, and everybody understands those risks when they get into these cars, but just because there can be danger doesn't mean that's what you want to see or what you expect. And the safety aspect of it, certainly great to see. The safety workers were really quick to on the scene with him, helping him, and getting him out of there.
Indeed.
All of that.
Real quick, just checking in with the chat. I know you guys are blowing up out there. Rye Cape checking in, saying, "What's up, fellas?" Hello, Rye Cape. JDK is after there saying afternoon, and he's available and can travel. So JDK, if you want to get the
Makes a great point. After Rice says definitely should get him in there, he's saying he 100% agrees. Just swapping one Canadian for another. So, makes a lot of sense. So hopefully that Talmar Friesen team will be on the horn with you here soon, JDK. And maybe we could throw some NASCAR Gambling Podcast logos on there.
That'd be beautiful. All right, let's get to a couple more quick stories before we start getting to this race. Next on the list is Austin Hill, a point of contention this week, as Austin Hill, obviously, it depends on who you ask, I suppose.
I don't know if there's much to contend, Rod.
Listen, this is a lot like any other topic in this world. There's such polarizing when it probably doesn't need to be, right? Austin Hill, obviously, unhappy with the move that was made around him, and whether or not you think he did right hooked Eric Almirola, took the guy out, and whether that was intentional or whether it was not, we'll leave that for the data to confirm. However, when I first saw the wreck, I looked at my daughter and I said, "Boo, Austin Hill was not happy. He took that car out," and that was my initial reaction. I guess there are other theories out there, Cody.
Yeah, if you saw it, like you said, when you first saw it, my immediate reaction was holy shit. And, my immediate reaction to the Ty Gibbs pit road thing a few weeks ago was holy shit, he should be suspended, right? Saw more looks at it, got some thoughts from a guy like Steve Letarte and made it, okay, maybe, overreacted to the initial thing, not such a big deal, right? This, I've not seen or heard anything that's changed my mind. He 100% in my mind, unequivocally, on purpose, right hooked Eric Almirola at high speeds on a big track. NASCAR has stated that they were going to penalize this type of thing, and I don't think that there is any way that they should not suspend Austin Hill for at least a race. He clearly recovered the car. He clearly then turned left into Almirola, and to the point we were just making, old-fashioned football checking. Go back to the beginning of the show. We already talked you up a bunch, so while we were shooting on Iowa, but that's okay. But he clearly right-hooked him into the wall in a high speed, and we just got done talking about, with the Stuart Friesen thing, the danger of these cars and how safety, yes, has come a long way, and luckily, Almirola walked away from that, said it's the hardest hit he's had since he broke his back at Kansas, which was an incredibly hard hit quite a few years back. But when you can prevent things, that's clearly preventable, right? Sometimes in a wreck, a car is going to get hooked into the wall, right? And that happens. That's part of racing. But when it is done intentionally, using your car as a weapon, as one would say, it's unacceptable, needs to be penalized. He absolutely should be suspended for a race. You go back and you look, they did it to Chase Elliott. I thought, we talked about it on the here, I thought it was questionable enough. I thought they should suspend him, but I didn't think they would because it was Chase Elliott. No, they did suspend him. They suspended Bubba Wallace for it a few years back. They kind of reinforced the rule this offseason with they were going to do it. There's the questionable Austin Cindric thing on Ty Dillon at a road course earlier this year, and that was the argument that Richard Childress was bringing up in his interview right as the race was still going on there. Yeah, that's questionable for sure. Not at a high-speed track, not straight into the wall. I think that's the difference. But I think that they absolutely have to make a statement here. And it probably didn't help his case when they give him the 5-lap penalty. And I heard some people saying, well, they gave him a 5-lap penalty, should be done. They ruined his race. Like, no, he ruined his race, because if he'd have fixed that, he'd have lost 3 spots and been fine. Still had a chance to cash their top 5 after that. But instead, he let the rage take over, and you just can't do that. So I 100%, as we're recording this, it's 4:00 Central Time on a whatever day it is, Tuesday. Typically, penalty reports come out on Tuesday. Sometimes it's Wednesday. Wouldn't be surprised if it's not till tomorrow, but they've not released the penalty report yet. But I 100% expect Austin Hill to be suspended, and he should be suspended.
Yeah, and like you said, he didn't help his case at all when he got on the radio and let NASCAR have it because of the 5-lap penalty. I mean, look, you're sitting in that seat. I get it. I got road rage better than anybody else in the entire world. I would probably be pissed off too if they parked me for 5 laps. But given the circumstances, if you shut your mouth, you don't have to defend yourself later on.
I mean, I don't know that that's really going to make or break the case. I'm sure it doesn't help.
It's not going to make or break.
It was pretty clear. And it's pretty clear the white gloves are really, They don't have the steering traces in Xfinity like they do in Cup, so we can't in particular see the steering trace, but it's pretty damn obvious from every angle I've seen it from that he egregiously took matters into his own hand and put people in danger when he shouldn't have. So, then the big thing comes from that, and I'm slightly confused on it. But what comes from the penalty? If he suspended a race and not granted a waiver, I don't believe he's eligible for the playoffs because he's not attempted to make every single race. Now, do they suspend? And that's what I thought they changed the rule to this year. But from what I've seen, they're more talking about if you get suspended, you lose all your points, right? So he'll lose all the playoff points he's accrued. He's got 3 wins. That's 15 points. Any stage wins, wherever he finishes in the regular season, he'll lose all those playoff points and any playoff points he gets before they get to the playoffs. So any more stage points he were to earn or whatever over the next few races, basically he would start at 0, potentially negative if they also, take away points. But do they grant him a waiver if they suspend him? If not, this move could completely take him out of the playoffs, which could be huge. But I don't exactly understand where that rule is and what they changed it to and what they're willing to do, because they changed the rule for, some outside stuff. You miss the race, you're not going to get a waiver, then you miss the playoffs. Well, if you miss a race for being suspended, where does that put you on that waiver thing?
Put you on the naughty list, and it puts you on the just do not fly list. But all right, we've got other stuff to take on.
Real quick too. We were talking about Austin Hill in the Xfinity race. If you didn't see it, the experts suck. Just go look up Austin Hill wreck. Intentionally wrecked Eric Almirola, right hooked him into the wall, high speed. That's what he should be suspended for. And one more thing before we get to the break, Rod. Bubba fucking Wallace. We haven't even talked about it. But hell yeah, wins the Brickyard 400. Loved to see it. Charles was in attendance. That's fucking awesome. Absolutely loved all the pictures and stuff from having the baby out there, the family, all that stuff. Great to see Bubba.
And we'll talk more about that on the other side of the break, but I would like to tell you first about our friends over at MyBookie.ag. We're brought to you by MyBookie.ag. MyBookie is your place to bet on every sport, including the MLB, WNBA, golf, and of course, football futures. MyBookie accepts customers from a ton of locations. There's easy deposit and lightning fast payout using cryptocurrency. You allow me to tell you a bet that I like, the CFL. I've been giving you bets all season long, and I'm going to continue to do so because my Ottawa Red Blacks are 5-point underdogs over the Calgary Stampeders. But what if I told you that Ottawa has beaten Calgary in the last couple of times that they've met outright? So guess what? I'm going to take the money line on Ottawa Red Blacks. Plus 189 for the Ottawa Red Blacks. Or if you're not as confident as me, take the points plus 5.5 or plus 5 rather at minus 110 and thank me later. Head to mybookie.ag, promo code SGPN for a 100% deposit match up to $1,000. Terms and conditions apply. That's mybookie.ag, promo code SGPN. You've heard us talk about Rhythm before, and they just dropped a game-changing feature called Power Trends. Essentially, it's the best of what their house model has to offer. These are AI-detected patterns where Rhythm's model has consistently won and has a high ROI. Think a strikeout prop that wins 59% of the time when the line and win probability hit a certain range. Power Trends are updated daily and exclusive to Rhythm. There's no touts, no noise, just clean data-backed bets. MLB Power Trends, 254 and 147 with a win rate of 63% and an ROI of 4.5 in their past 400 bets. WNBA Power Trends, 35 and 20 since the launch, 63.64 win rate at a 20.7 ROI. Download the Rhythm app, check out Power Trends, and start betting smarter. You know we're going to be. Get your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. Like you said, Cody, yes, it was Bubba Wallace winning the Brickyard 400. And like you, the whole thing. So first and foremost, my youngest is a huge Bubba Wallace fan. Has the picture of him and me as one of her phone covers. The other one's Ryan Blaney and me. So, she definitely loves her some Bubba Wallace. And when she saw him grab his son, when she saw him hold his son up, a la Lion King style, yeah, it tugged at all the feels.
Great. Yeah, absolutely. It was great to see it. He's a guy that works very hard, wears his emotions on his sleeve, and to see him get that, another winner, Rod. We're another winner closer. It's we got less and less playoff spots available. But it was great to see him pick that up. He gets it done before car owner Denny Hamlin picks up a Brickyard 400 win. So shout out to him for that. But yeah, great to see him in the 23 car.
I agree. Mark is checking in saying he predicts Christopher Bell is going to win at Iowa. Plus, he's a 2-time Xfinity Series winner here and good at short, flat tracks. I got some thoughts you may not want to hear about Christopher Bell as we go on.
I have some thoughts you'll want
That's
to hear,
right.
so
We're
don't
good
worry
there.
about
Charles saying little late, but let's go. That's correct. He cashed on Bubba.
it.
So
Charles.
very excited about that. Old Fashioned Football says that they think, or he thinks they should use cats. They should use the cat as a weapon in NASCAR. How fun would that be?
Yes, using your cat as a weapon. There was back in the day a monkey that used to ride in the car with one of the guys back in like the 50s. So check that out. That's pretty crazy. But yeah, imagine if you had a monkey and he jumped from one car to the other or something crazy.
Beautiful.
I don't know. Ty Tiger, been a while since we've seen him live in the chat. Good to see you, buddy. Glad you are here. We do have 13 winners, Rod, and there's only 16.
Yeah, but they're all locked in, Cody. I don't want to hear it. They're all locked in.
They're all locked in. Imagine if we get 2 more winners and Tyler Reddick wins the regular season. Okay, he's probably not going to win. He's 71 back, but. We got some wild card races, you could say, coming up. Watkins Glen, Daytona, Iowa this weekend, Richmond. We could see some crazy stuff. We saw crazy stuff at Richmond last year. Interesting.
Speaking of winners, though, we have a winner in our contest because Ty Gibbs won the in-bracket challenge. That's the only nice thing you'll hear me say about him today. However, that resulted in somebody being able to walk away with some prizes from our contest that we were running all season long.
Yes, absolutely. And our guy Ash Rod is live in the chat here. Congratulations to him. He did win first place. So I know he's been asking about getting some merch sent overseas, and we're going to make that work. So shout out to Ash taking home first place. Andrew, you might know him in the Discord as Shandy. He took home second place with his bracket. So congrats to him. And Derek Cresto took home third place. So check your emails, fellas. Jake will be reaching out. Our merch god will be reaching out to you to make sure that you get your prizes. JDK also in the chat. I want to give him an honorable mention, Rod. He had the worst bracket out of everybody. So. It must be a Canada thing, you know?
Everybody that was supposed to win ended up losing, and that was it. JDK's out in the first round, but that's all right, JDK. We still love you. You're still.
It was, as I was scoring, it was pretty funny. Like some pretty decent scores in the first round, and then it was just like everybody's brackets fell apart after that. So, but shout out to everybody who entered the contest. We appreciate you guys, and winners, check your email inboxes, and if you haven't heard anything, reach out to me, and we'll make sure we get it figured out.
Indeed. All right, let's turn our attention to Iowa, where the corn sweats and everybody feels it. It is the Iowa Corn 350 powered by ethanol. We're set for 350 laps around this 0.875 mile paved track for 306.250 miles of corn stalking fun, Cody.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be really exciting. Cup Series came here for the first time last year, so we just have one race in all of Cup Series history to look at here, so not a ton of stuff to look at. They are going to bring a new tire. That was mentioned back in the chat a little while ago. There were quite a few tire issues last year. This is supposed to be a more durable tire. Why we're doing this, not really sure, because I thought we liked the tires that wore out and we were trying to get more in that direction, but apparently not. It is notable. Kyle Busch, Austin Cindric, and Chase Briscoe did the tire test here back in June. So those 3 drivers in particular have laps on this track in that tire. Might have a little extra advantage by getting that. Of course, all that info is shared across the teams. Each one is a representative from each manufacturer, but in particular, when you get to share all the data, then you also get a little play time on the track yourself to figure some stuff out. So, it should be a fun, interesting race. Looking forward to it. Comp tracks, I don't know how you did it, Rod. This is kind of an interesting one. 7/8 mile. They bill it as the fastest short track in the world. I've been there plenty of times, and it is a hell of fast track. So I love to see that. I think, it's kind of a shorter, flatter track in a sense. Phoenix is the one race we've been to this year that's probably the most you're able to look at. New Hampshire, I think, is a great comp, and Ryan at iFantasy agrees with those two. Dover, I know our guy Sam Smith had brought this up in the Discord, but as I looked into it more, Dover, I think, is a pretty good comp as well. 7/8 mile to a mile, both very fast tracks. And we were just at Dover a couple of weeks ago. Dover's concrete. This is not. But I think there is some things you could pull from that as well.
So basically, I just looked at Iowa. I mean, I get it, and I know, man, we so love digging into these comp track things, but in some cases, there just aren't any tracks that are really comparable to this, because this track is a unique length. This track has a unique speed that it carries with it, and now, you know, when we introduce the new tires, it throws a whole different wrench into it as well. So even looking at last year's data can't necessarily get you where you need to go. So a lot of what I did, Cody, and maybe this is what I've started to do, I think, now going forward too. I know there's a lot of tracks that are the same, right? The Texases of the world, the Phoenixes of the world, all these ones. But like, to me, I'm just looking at the individual, how they did at that particular track, because it feels to me lately that you can't really take a whole lot of comp tracks into this, especially this season, because what we say is a comp track, sometimes they don't do as good, and so you have to throw that out because it's like, well, they didn't do good there or whatever. So I feel like the last couple of seasons, it's just been hard to look at comp tracks and actually glean anything out of it other than, all right, well, then they're kind of okay on this kind of one. So I looked at what they did in Iowa, and I've looked at what they've done lately, and I've pretty much just kind of taken it from there.
Yeah, I don't mind that approach at all. And it's tough this year because, you know, if you want to look at comp tracks, Phoenix, Dover, but that's it. So that's only 2 races. Phoenix was all the way back in March or late February. So that was a long time ago. A lot of stuff's changed. You know, if you want to go back and look at the comp tracks from last year, well, guys like Chase Briscoe, we're going to talk about a lot today. Completely different team, completely different manufacturer. How much do you look at that? You know, so I think that, yeah, I don't completely disagree that it is kind of hard in some cases. Each thing you kind of have to craft your own way, and that's what we do, right? You find the angle you like and how to spin it. But there's certainly things to look at.
All right, and really no notables in the list of cars. All the open entry cars are still open entry cars, and all of the charter cars are still charter cars. So don't have to worry about anything.
Yes, we do have one extra. Joey Gase will be in the 66. But,
I said notable.
You know, outside of that, it's your normal open cars of 2311 and front row race.
Sorry, no knock on that. Hey, listen, we had an open car win the race last week, so you know, NASCAR's probably like, damn it, look at what happened. But all right, well then, Cody, I say it's time we start loading up bets for this race.
Let's do it. We're gonna jump right into it, Rod. The matchups market is a tough one this week. At least so far, there's just not. They're all very close. There's not a lot of things out there I like. But I found one I like. It's juiced up a little bit, but you want to pay the juice if you lose. I'm going to take Chase Briscoe over Ross Chastain. It's minus 150 over on Bet365. Again, minus 150 is not for everybody. I get it. But, you know, pick and choose which bets you like, as we always say. But I love Chase Briscoe this week, and I am currently completely out on Ross Chastain. Ross Chastain might currently be out on himself as well. If you look over the last 7 races, I think that's a healthy sample size of races. It's not even been close. It is Chase Briscoe, Chase Briscoe, Chase Briscoe. You go back to last week, Ross out early, 39th place finish at Indianapolis. Chase Briscoe only managed an 18th, but you know they ended up running out of fuel, or I don't think he ran out of fuel, but he pitted one of those overtimes and just didn't get a good run. But before that, 2 back-to-back second places in a row. Second at Dover, one of the tracks I mentioned as sort of a comp track, right? You like to see that. Chastain, 33rd. Sonoma, road course, yes, but speaks to current form. Second place for Briscoe, 24th for Ross Chastain. Chicago's the one track that Chastain got Briscoe, 10th to Briscoe's 23rd. Okay, 2 tracks, sorry, because Atlanta, it was 35th and 33rd. Basically a wash. Both got caught up in a wreck early. But Pocono, first place for Briscoe, 26th for Chastain. Mexico, 7th for Briscoe, 16th for Ross Chastain. Tough start to the season. Who could have saw that coming, Rod? Things were slow for Briscoe out of the gate, but now that he has figured it out, now that things are clicking, we've seen him reeling off some really good runs. He had a fast car last week. Again, if not for the fuel thing, probably would have had a top 5, top 10, thing at the end of the deal there. So, like you mentioned, hard to look at comp stuff. Hard to go back and look at last year because Briscoe was in the 4 car, or the 14 car rather, for Stuart Haas. Ford, things were different. But just to kind of take a look, Chastain, for reference, finished 11th last year. Respectable finish, okay. And I will say Chastain has been pretty decent over the years on shorter, flatter tracks. I will give him credit for that. Briscoe has been inconsistent, but has had flashes of greatness. He did finish 28th there last year. The 19 car with Truex finished in 15th, so neither of them beat Chastain. But again, taking that a little bit lighter. But you go back and you look, New Hampshire last year, second place for Chase Briscoe, very fast there. Finished 9th at Phoenix last year, 7th at Phoenix in 2023. 2022, a win and a 4th place finish at Phoenix. So he's been very good. And I've got a lot more to say about Briscoe coming up, but very underrated by the books this week. And I don't really know, but current form, as you spoke to, not many people better, right? Denny Hamlin, probably the only one better current form than Chase Briscoe. He has been on lately. Tough week last week, but he went out and got the pole, cashed that for us, cashed the stage 1 bets from the Discord for a lot of people. So you love to see all those things. Give me Chase Briscoe over the Watermelon Man at -150.
And it's tough because with Ross Chastain, his highs are so high and yet his lows just sort of go unnoticed, right? It's just, you start to say, oh, when Ross Chastain does well, you go, oh man, Ross Chastain's doing really well right now. But then when he's not, you just don't really pay attention. And you're just like, oh wow, wait, Ross Chastain. And Daniel saying he's going through it lately. And it kind of is, because it's a rough stretch for him.
He is. Yes. And chat likes it. Mustard Rob says, let's go Briscoe. And Daniel as well agreeing Briscoe's growing on me. This is what we wanted. We wanted him to start the season slow. We fade him early. That worked out well. And now he's figured it out. He's put it together. And the books are not adjusting as much as they should be on him. And we've got to take advantage of it before they catch up.
I agree. Like I said, it's tough because when you see Ross Chastain succeed, it's always such a fun thing. And then when you see him struggle, it hurts. So, all right. My first bet, I'm going to take a head-to-head. Like you said, Cody, there's not much in the head-to-head market that isn't way juiced up or just not really attractive. This one was the one that I found that I liked the best, and that is Chase Elliott over Christopher Bell. Sorry, Marcus. But if you did look at last season's race, it was Chase Elliott in 3rd place, and it was Christopher Bell right behind him in 4th. So as much as you didn't want that, it still cashed this bet. Not to say that Christopher Bell wasn't a fantastic driver that day. He did start 10th and ended up 4th, but Chase Elliott started 9th and ended up in 3rd place. The last few weeks for Christopher Bell, you want to talk about a roller coaster. 8th place at Indianapolis, but 18th at Dover. 5th place at Sonoma, 24th at Chicago, 30th at Atlanta, 17th at Pocono, 2nd at Mexico City, 16th at Michigan, 10th at Nashville. From a guy that won 3 in a row, right? You were thinking it's fantastic stuff ahead, but he's now got a 12.4 place average finish after an average starting place of 14.5, and he's DNF'd in 3 races. We sing Chase Elliott's praises every single week, and this one's no different, right? Obviously, Chase Elliott, 13th place at Indianapolis last week, not much of a factor, and that's where Christopher Bell did end up getting him, but before that, started on the pole in Dover, finished 6th, 3rd at Sonoma, 16th at Chicago. I'm not holding anything against anybody for Chicago, but he won Atlanta, 5th at Pocono, 3rd at Mexico City, 6th at Charlotte. He got 15th at Nashville, which was kind of a bummer, but 8th at Darlington, 4th at Martinsville, a couple of short tracks in that instance, 10th at Phoenix earlier as well. His average finish this season, 10.1. So, no DNFs, 7 top 5s, 12 top 10s in 22 starts, and a win. Again, we sing his praises every single week, and it's just Chase Elliott's going to be there, right? With the exception of maybe last week, which was tough. But then again, right, Chase Elliott started 30th in that race and drove his way up to 13th on a track that people were saying that it was very, very difficult to pass on. So you give him the opportunity to start closer to the front, hopefully this week, and he's going to be in contention. He's going to be battling for it. And the reason I'm high on this one is this is plus 110 for Elliott over Bell. This is going to be highly contested. This isn't going to be a slam dunk, but it's definitely worth a plus money bet on Chase Elliott to end up beating Christopher Bell at the end of the day. So, give me Chase Elliott over Christopher Bell. And then Brian Twining wanted to know, hey, did you know that Bubba Wallace has as many non-super speedways since Chase Elliott since 2023? We did know that as well. So much shade, buddy, but
It's well, you get these fucking people on Facebook and then all these NASCAR places that just complain and make all these excuses against Bubba. It gets annoying as somebody who likes Bubba. So I feel you. Stats like that, people just don't even believe them because how people believe or don't believe things. But yeah, it's stats like that are like, oh boy, that's pretty good, right? So yeah, you like it. And for this head-to-head, Chase Elliott, guy I love week in and week out. I've got some more thoughts on him coming up. He's consistent, right? He's always going to get you to the end. Bell's had some struggles lately, which has been part of it, right? And a little less consistent, but short, flat drivers, he might be the best one in the field, Rod.
I haven't seen it this year.
It's going to be
early,
be a tough game. Well, because we haven't had any. We haven't seen it this year. He won Phoenix.
That's short, flat. That's short enough and flat enough. But
yeah, that's what this is.
Well, okay, I haven't seen it lately. Let's put it that way. I haven't seen the consistency that we want to see out of the 20 lately. But all right, we'll continue. Oh.
And getting Elliott at plus money. And again, I have thoughts on him later, but very, very good here last year. One of the best cars coming off a Dover dominating run a few weeks ago. And plus money. I don't hate that combination.
I definitely don't hate that combination of things. All right, we'll get to more of our bets, but first let me tell you about Circa. The world's greatest sportsbook, Circa Las Vegas, is hosting the world's biggest pro football contest. Circa Million, Circa Survivor, and Circa Grandissimo with over $21 million in guaranteed prizes. You can't call yourself a true DGen if you're not competing in the Circa football contest. Come hang out with the SGPN at the Circa contest weekend, August 21st through 23rd for an amazing weekend, including live shows and open bars. That's all you need to know. Plus, get a 15% off your stay at the Circa with promo code SGP15. Contests are open to everyone. Sign up in Nevada and play from anywhere with the help of SGPN's official proxy. Go to footballcontest.com and use promo code SGP to get $50 off of your proxy fees. Told you earlier about Underdog. Well, Underdog Best Ball Mania is happening, and all summer long, they're giving away $15 million in prizes, including $2 million to first place. There's no waiver wire. There's no arguments about trades. Best Ball is the best way to play fantasy football. Underdog is also a great place to play Pick'em, where you can win up to 500 times your entry. Allow me to introduce you to the All Disc Golf Pro Tour, right? Underdog is giving you picks and projections on the All Disc Golf Pro Tour. How about Kristen Lett? 2.5 tourney finishing position. You want a little bit of stats on Kristen Lett? Well, she's finished second in the last Court Belt Presents European Disc Golf. She finished first in the match play. She finished second, sixth, second, first. She's only finished outside of the top two twice in the entire season. So just load up on Kristen Lett on the 2.5 tourney finishing position and thank me later on the All Disc Pro Tour. You can find all that great stuff while you sign up at Underdog Fantasy with promo code RACESGP and claim your special pick and first-time deposit offer to $1,000 in bonus credits. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code RACESGPN.
Rod, we have breaking news from the news desk. NASCAR's penalty report has come out. Austin Hill has been suspended for one race for his actions at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. If you're just joining us, we did talk about this at the beginning of the show. I think we're both in complete agreement that he should have been suspended. He has now been suspended. I don't know, but I would imagine that they have the ability to appeal. It'll likely be an expedited appeal, probably heard Wednesday or Thursday, because it'll need to be determined by this weekend. I would imagine they will lose that appeal. But Richard Childress is going to fight it because that's what he does, because they're a blue collar race team, Rod. Everybody hates those blue collar race teams. But who will be in that 21 car? Could be interesting, right? Do you see somebody come up from the Truck Series, or do we get a Kyle Busch sighting in the 20? That's who I would put if I was Richard. I'd get Kyle Busch in there, or potentially we could see Austin Dillon, Ty Dillon, maybe even. So that'll be interesting.
Listen, to me, this was the right move. Obviously, we just talked about it a second ago. Who gets in that car? I don't know. I'm going to be anxious to see how the appeals process goes and exactly what the heck they're trying to appeal on that one. Boji Joe wants to know, Rod, did you say load up on Catherine Legg? I actually mispronounced your name. I'm sorry. It's Kristen Lett. Kristen, not Catherine. Catherine Legg, always on the mind, I suppose, but Kristen Late.
But hey, shout out to Catherine Legg, 17th place in that 78 car. Absolutely fucking amazing. Once again, she's a hell of a DFS play. Yeah, props to her. I mean, to finish that, especially on a non-super speedway, to finish that high in that car, I believe that's their best non-super speedway finish by quite a bit. So congrats to her and shout out, because she's, had that one stumble at Phoenix or whatever it was where, it was like, oh boy, but again, not getting many laps of practice or anything. She's really figuring it out. So props to her for putting together.
I concur. All right, Cody, who else is going to put together a great race?
Well, he does it every single week, Rod. Why wouldn't he do it again? Denny Hamlin, top 5, plus 125. We played the top 3 last week. Similar number. Wrecks out with the fastest fucking car I've seen at Indianapolis. Spins, crashes in qualifying. Has to start at the back in a backup car. Doesn't matter. Drives all the way through the field on a track you can't pass on. And finishes in 3rd place. Cashing that bet for us once again. Now you're getting top 5 this week at plus money again. Absolutely love it. He's been on fire lately. 3rd at Indianapolis, 1st at Dover. Sonoma was a bad race, but road course, he was 4th at Chicago. Atlanta, he wrecked out, but Pocono, 2nd. Michigan, 1st. Nashville, 3rd. He has looked good lately. If you go back to earlier this season, Bristol, another shorter track-ish, I guess, 2nd place. Darlington, he won. Martinsville, he won. Short track there. Miami with the 5th place. Phoenix in the spring. Comp track, 2nd place run there. Denny Hamlin is having one of the best seasons he's had, and he's had some really good seasons, having a great season this year. You go back and you look through these tracks, right? The other one I forgot to mention too, Gateway, is one that Ryan and I Fantasy Race kind of comped as well. So, but going back and looking at Denny Hamlin on these 1 mile tracks, he won at Dover here recently. You'd love to see that, right? 2nd at Phoenix in the spring, 11th and 24th at Phoenix in New Hampshire last summer. Not great finishes, but 2nd at Gateway, 1 at Dover last year, 8th at Phoenix, 7th at New Hampshire, 2nd at Gateway, 5th at Dover, 8th at Phoenix, 6th at New Hampshire. These are all finishes in the next-gen car. He's been great at these shorter tracks, the flatter tracks. He's on fucking fire right now. There's just nothing stopping this guy. Brickyard 400 winner last week. As the car owner, he's getting it all right now. Brand new dad, all the fun stuff. Give me Denny Hamlin to just continue the run. We're going to ride it until it breaks. Denny Hamlin, top 5.
Speaking of riding until it breaks, how about Bubba Wallace, coming off of a 7th place finish and, of course, that win last week at the Brickyard 400. There are things that happen to drivers that make the rest of their season just go better than they probably could have imagined. And one of those is winning a race late and locking yourself in the playoffs, right? Because a guy, especially Bubba Wallace, when you see the fatigue of fighting every question in the book of this playoff battle and the playoff cut line and everything like that. Now, granted, he's not locked in yet. However, there's definitely a air of relief in Bubba Wallace now that he doesn't have to try to win this particular race. So when you kick the wheels off of something like that, well, guess what? You drive a little more relaxed. You take a couple more chances here and there, put yourself in a better position. You don't have to sit there and stress over every single decision that you make on the tracks and in the pits. So, Bubba Wallace, Group D over on DK. First and foremost, the disrespect, right? Group D over there. And second of all, he's not even the favorite to win the group. Plus 300 for Group D on DK. That group consists of Josh Berry, Ty Gibbs, and Carson Hocevar. I've told everybody that I'm going to refrain from saying bad things about 2 of those drivers. But here's the thing, right? This is just a gut handicap more than anything. And then I will say this, because when you look at Ty Gibbs and you look at Carson Hocevar, look, man, come on. I know Carson Hocevar was running in the top 10. I know Carson Hocevar's got speed. I know Carson Hocevar is a talented driver. Prove it. Prove it week after week after week after week. Finish in the top 10. Win a freaking race. And then you'll get the respect that you deserve from me. Ty Gibbs, same thing. You won the in-season bracket. We're freaking who? You finished 18th last week. You can't finish races. Oh, but he finished in the top 5 in the last couple. I don't care. I honestly just don't care anymore. Like, you can sing to me all your Ty Gibbs praises, all your Carson Hocevar praises you want. You're not going to convince me that either one of them are worth betting on right now at all. Josh Berry, on the other hand, that guy, he's going to pop up. He's going to win a race. He's going to be great. But I will tell you that at Dover a couple weeks ago, it was Bubba Wallace beating them all. Bubba Wallace finished in 7th and beat everybody, right? And then, of course, Sunday, whenever it was, Sunday, he beat everybody. So I'm riding his recent momentum, just like you're doing with his team owner, Denny Hamlin, because that those guys, it's just got a lot of momentum behind him now, and 2 good finishes for him. He's kissed the bricks, kissed his baby, and he's going to be good, right? So plus 300 to win that group, which is not a tough group, to be honest with you. Gibbs will get himself in trouble. Hocevar will get himself in trouble. Barry could be lurking around, but with the speed we've seen out of this 23 group lately, I'll take that. They're fighting the open charter nonsense that's going on right now. So I definitely like that. And then look, if you want to get kind of cute, you could take his top 5 at plus 650. It's just crazy to think that he's almost 7-1 when he's finished just inside of the top 10, if not close around the top 5 in the last 2 races. Obviously, he won the last one and finished 7th the week before that. So, and then a 4th place at Michigan earlier in the year. You want to talk about fast tracks? I know it's not a short track, but 3rd at Martinsville. How about a 3rd at Miami? So some good finishes. 6th at Martinsville. I'm in Nashville, rather. So yeah, there's some really good finishes in there for that 23 team. And like I said, I think he can get it done.
Yeah, hard to fade Bubba right now, right? I don't think it can be overstated how much pressure this takes off of them. We talked about it last week, like he's in, and maybe we should have looked at him more for that reason. I know you had a bet on him last week, but he's in points racing, like they're going for it. This is when he buckles down and shows up. He's very much a clutch driver. He's got the Michael Jordan genes in that relationship, not the choke in the playoffs, Denny Hamlin genes from the other side of the ownership. But now they don't have any of that pressure, right? He can just go out and run his race, and it can't be overstated how how much pressure and how much of a load off their shoulders that takes, because he just goes out there and has fun and runs his race now, and I think that's going to help him a ton. This group, I think, is a tough one. I love Josh Berry this week. I love Ty Gibbs this week. Carson Hocevar's had his flashes, right? I think he's a hard guy to bet on. He's not on the card for that reason. But it is a tough group, but I do not mind, of course, riding the guy who, absolutely killed everybody last week. And I mean, talk about earning that win, holding off Kyle Larson on multiple overtime restarts at the end, saving enough fuel. Like, he did it all. So, not gonna turn you down.
Beautiful. All right, where are we going next, Cody?
All right, Rod. Kyle Busch, top 10 plus 160. This is my next bet. I just love Kyle Busch, and I know that we took the F away. I know that it's redacted, but we've seen some mixture of positive and negative stuff out of him here lately. He was very fast here last year. He had a great car. It was a top 10 car most of the race. Water pump issue, ends up scoring a 37th place finish, not indicative of how he ran, but he looked good here. Coming off an 11th place at Dover just 2 weeks ago, again, sort of compy-ish of a track, right? You go back to Phoenix, the other comp track we've had this year, 8th place finish there. So I'm going to take a few positives out of that. Last week at Indy could have been better with a 25th, right? He had a great run at the Chicago Street Course, a good run at Michigan with an 8th place, good at Nashville with the 12th place. Charlotte was 15th. Those aren't bad, right? He ran well in the All-Star race with an 8th place finish, short flat. Darlington with the top 10. So you like those things. You go back and you look at kind of similar tracks to this one. Dover, Phoenix, of course, I mentioned those already. Last year at Dover with a 4th place finish. Gateway in 23, he snagged a win. Phoenix in 23 in 8th place. 7th place in 22. Gateway, 2nd place finish there. Really good at that track. Dover in 22, 7th. Phoenix in 22, 7th. Good runs by Kyle Busch there. I just, can they stay out of their own way? I think is the biggest problem we've had with this 8 team, but we've seen him have some really good runs here lately. I think he can put it all together. Speaking of good runs lately, Alex Bowman, disrespected, Rod, plus 250 for a top 10. This is a crazy number for a guy that we rode him early in the season, right? Top 10s every week, top 10. A little bit of a cold streak. He went on one, but he's back. 9th place at Indy last week, 3rd at Dover, Rod. Again, if this is going to race similar to Dover, you like that. 19th at Sonoma, but 8th at Chicago, 3rd at Atlanta, 11th at Pocono, right there, 4th at Mexico City. Those are all the runs he's coming off of here lately. And then you go back and you look, Phoenix earlier this spring, 7th place run there on a track typically he'd not been good at, but he's gotten better at. 8th place at Dover last year, 9th place at Phoenix back in 23 as well, 5th at Dover, 13th at Gateway, 9th place finish at New Hampshire here recently as well. So good enough runs. He's back in Alex Bowman form. This has been one of our favorite bets over the couple of years we've been doing this show. Give me Alex Bowman top 10 at plus 250.
Yeah, and honestly, you took all of my favorite top 10s. So I just like, yeah, I'm gonna agree with you on most of these top 10s because when I got to the dock, they were already all taken. So I do definitely like Busch, and I definitely like Bowman. Busch for sure. Busch, I'm really obviously high on this week, and I was gonna put him in the dock, and I got there and it was gone. So and then of course another one that you're gonna give in a second, not the one that you're thinking, is gonna be one that I like as well. So I will pivot and I will take Austin Cindric as a long shot top 10. Not very much outside of what Cody's about to give you in the top 10 market did I necessarily like, but let's face it, the options aren't that strong out there right now for anything else. So I'm going to give you a long shot top 10. Austin Cindric plus 280. Last year, not a good race for Austin Cindric in this one. He finished in 30th place after starting in 21st. However, Austin Cindric kind of been around, and he starts well. He starts 13.9 is his average starting position. He's just not finishing well at the end of it. However, 15th place in Indianapolis last week. He started in 10th. Close to a top 10, right? Top 10 adjacent. Dover, 16th place after starting 26th in that particular race. He did win in Talladega. I know that's a super speedway, but he's got to win under his belt. This team has been trying stuff, and it just hasn't been really working for him. 10th place at Pocono, though, so that's a pretty decent top 10 effort. A 6th place at Las Vegas. 11th place at Darlington, just outside of the top 10. 11th place at Kansas, just outside of the top 10. This is going to take some doing, right? This is not going to be a slam dunk for Austin Cindric, but I think he's got a decent enough shot from a lot of those guys that are around this plus 280 range and beyond to be able to do it. Because if you look, you know, the only other guy that I really feel confident about, the guy that Cody's going to give out here in a second, but you look at the top 10 from last season, right? Keselowski, okay, but his odds weren't what I liked. Daniel Suarez in there, I'm not touching him because he hasn't shown top 10 speed in a very long time in the Cup Series off and on. And then you got Barry, Logano. I want Logano, but again, when you look at his finishes, you go, oof, probably not something I want to do. Even though, right, they're both the same team in this, I just feel like maybe Austin Cindric has a better shot than Joey Logano. But yeah, I mean, look, to me, like I said, if I'm going to take a stab somewhere in that almost 3-1 range, Austin Cindric seems like the guy that hangs around the top 10 enough to be able to maybe back his way into a nice little top 10 finish. If it's not one of the guys that Cody's given you, because like I said, I like all of those as well, except for one.
Yeah, I don't mind this one at all. You know, great at Gateway. That's, again, one of the tracks that I mentioned earlier. And we saw last week, Penske is willing to gamble. This is going to be a track where you can gamble because I don't think the tires are going to wear at all. It's going to be cool. 78 degrees is the forecast for Sunday. Not going to be hot on the tires. They're bringing this new tire that's supposed to be more durable. Why they're doing that, I don't know. But Cindric certainly at that number, a guy that you could look at. Rod, breaking news. RCR will not appeal the Austin Hill suspension. Austin Dillon has been named the driver for the car this week in Iowa. So they are going to accept the penalty. I think they probably saw that there was no way they were going to win an appeal. Why even fight it? Let's move on and get Austin Dillon in there. So, and then it does look like, according to Bob's tweets, he will lose all of his playoff points that he's earned, and any that more that he earns during the regular season. He'll start the postseason with 0. And I guess that assumes that they're going to be granted a waiver for the suspension. So, yeah, there you have it. But, all right, Rod, next up for me. I know you said you loved one of the top 10s I was about to give out, and I'm sure that it's probably Ty Gibbs, top 10 at plus 220. Gotta love Ty Gibbs, guy we've been hitting on just about every week. We missed a little bit last week, right? They made the smart move and, came down and got the tires and the fuel to save the $1 million win. Bad finish, fine. But he's coming off a 5th place run at Dover, where he looked really good, had a fast car. 7th at Sonoma, 2nd at Chicago. So a couple of good runs here recently. Michigan, he had a 3rd place finish. So some good runs there. Bristol had a 3rd place finish as well. You go back and you look, what has he done on this type of track in the past? Been kind of a mixed bag of results, but 5th at Dover, 25th at Phoenix, you could have been better, right? 16th at New Hampshire, 11th at Gateway, 10th at Dover last year, a 3rd at Phoenix last year. So definitely some positives mixed in there for Ty Gibbs, along with running well lately. And Joe Gibbs Racing, we've talked about him the last couple of weeks a ton. They just look good right now, and they are, I'm trying to find every way possible to bet on the team, including betting on the team here in a little bit. So give me Ty Gibbs. Boy, one of those ties. Ty Gibbs, top 10, plus 220, getting a bigger number for him this week. So I do love that. And then Richard Stenhouse Jr., top 10 at 12-1. Roddy finished 5th place here last year. They played a little bit of strategy, but once he got up front, he was able to kind of keep up front and looked pretty decent. So you like to see that. He's also a guy you think of when you think of a place like Dover. Didn't have the best run there earlier this season at 23rd, right, a couple of weeks ago. But runs like 7th at New Hampshire last week stand out to me. Of course, the finish at Iowa where he was 5th this last year, 15th at Dover last year, or at Dover last year. 18th at New Hampshire a couple of seasons ago. Scored a 2nd place finish at Dover back in 2022 as well. So there's been some spots where he pops up, right? Maybe he'll just suck and be at the back of the field, but he can pop up. He can hit for you at 12-1 on a track where he finished in the top 5 last year. I will take it. So Gibbs top 10 plus 220, Stenhouse top 10 at 12.
You're right, buddy. The one that I liked the most was the Ricky Stenhouse top 10. I definitely like his opportunities to try to sneak in a top 10.
And good point by Boji Joe here too. Let him qualify poorly, then bet the top 10. Not a horrible idea. Doesn't generally qualify well. And he started, I think, 37th here last year en route to that 5th place finish. So, starting bad, still was able to run well.
I agree. And I also agree with
started 30
with Brian too. He said he really likes Bubba's pre-qual numbers, 0 pressure. That's pretty much exactly what I had said too. There's nothing. He can just go out now and do what he's got to do to continue this good run and get in there. Experts suck. Saying, okay, I think the pick show is a good place to introduce my new word, NASCAR. When all your picks get knocked out for some insane NASCAR reason, i.e. a wreck, a blown engine, a lost lug nut. How about rain? That's another one.
I can't tell you how many times I've been NASCAR, Rod.
Now, we got NASCAR pretty good last week on a few of ours as well. And speaking of NASCAR, Ryan Blaney has been NASCAR one too many times, in my opinion, this season. However, I'm going to take his top 5. This is juiced more than I really like, especially for a top 5. But Brian Blaney is the kind of guy that's going to go out and probably get you a top 5 finish this week because that's just the way it is, especially with him lately. Minus 120 for Ryan Blaney, top 5. What's his last couple finishes been? Not top 5 finishes. I get that. A 7th place and an 8th place, but circling around there. 3rd place at Pocono, which is good. He won at Nashville, right? 3rd at Texas, 5th at Bristol, 5th at Darlington. So some good finishes in some of these whatever tracks, like I said, there's no comp track to Iowa, but tracks that you could pretty much say are comp tracks to Iowa. What did he do last year? Started on the outside pole, parked it in victory lane at the end of it. So he led 201 laps too. So this wasn't like a strategy call. This wasn't just a late race move. He came out and owned the first race on this track. 201 laps led. All I'm asking him to do this year is come out and get me a top 5. That's all I want out of Ryan Blaney. Don't even need him to win this race, even though it'd be nice if he did. But I think Blaney as a top 5 car is worth the bet. If you want to take a top 3, you can do that as well. But I feel more comfortable saying top 5, given that with the range of outcomes that Ryan Blaney's been experiencing this season altogether, it just make me feel better if I gave myself I'd pay a little more juice for a couple of more positions just to make sure that there's no heartbreak at the end of the race when he slides from 3rd to 4th at the end of it. And I'm like, well, that kills it. But yeah, give me Ryan Blaney top 5 minus 120.
Yeah, he looked great here last year. I think that Kyle Larson probably the only one who had a little bit of something for him before he wrecked, which he tends to do a lot. A couple of finishes in a row that were decent for Blaney the last couple of weeks. So maybe trying to fix some of the bad luck he's had this year. So don't mind that. Not a great run at Phoenix earlier this year, but did recover at Dover a couple of weeks ago. So don't mind that. All right, Rod. Last week I told you it was Brad Keselowski week. He looked great the whole race. Okay, maybe he didn't, but he finished in 6th place, so it was Brad Keselowski week. You're welcome. This week, it is Chase Briscoe week, and we are riding the Chase Briscoe car lift. You can go back and kick it off with that Briscoe over Chastain that I talked about a little bit ago. Rod, over on Bet365, you can get his top 10 at even money. This is the steal of the week. This is, if I could only have one play, this is the play I would have. Chase Briscoe, top 10, even money. You can get his top 5 at 3-1. You can get his top Toyota at 7-1. You can get him at 19-1 over on FanDuel to win. And then I'm going to toss in a fun one. You can get a dual forecast over on the Caesars, which means they can finish first or second either way, or second and first, for Denny Hamlin along with Chase Briscoe at 30-1. Little fun one to top off the car lift. But absolutely in love with Chase Briscoe this week. Talked about it. He is on fire here lately. Second at Dover, second at Sonoma, win at Pocono, a couple of his great runs over the last few weeks. He's figured things out. He made the comment when he started at this team this year, he didn't know how to drive a car that was this good because he hadn't ever had cars this good. Now he's figured it out. Now we go to a short flat track, which, by the way, where he is good at. Second at New Hampshire last year, won at Phoenix a couple of years ago, 4th place at Phoenix a couple of years ago, 7th place at Phoenix a couple of years ago. All of these, by the way, in SHR 14 cars, 10th at New Hampshire a couple of years ago, 9th at Phoenix last year. He's had some really good runs in the SHR car. Now you put him into this car. By the way, who was probably the best short flat track guy we had in the series before? Oh, Martin Truex. Well, what have we seen at tracks where Truex had good setups and good cars? We've seen Briscoe lately show up and be good at those tracks. Dover in particular, Sonoma in particular. Truex wasn't great here last year, so I will toss that out there. But one sample size, swan song year for Truex, whatever. Not going to overthink that too much. Absolutely in love with Chase Briscoe this week. That top 10 at even money, I mean, that's going to make or break this car lift for you. Then everything else is cherry on top. And for him to get to the top 5, not crazy for how we've seen him running. To be the top finishing Toyota, probably one of the toughest parts of this, because I think that Denny's going to be good. I think Bell's going to be good. I think that Gibbs is probably going to be pretty decent. Reddick's not great on short tracks. Bubba maybe up there too, but his other 3 teammates are all going to be good. But in winning the race at 19-1, obviously we'll clear all of these for you. So give me Chase Briscoe on what is known as Chase Briscoe week here in Iowa.
Chase Briscoe week in Iowa. Yeah, I can't argue with Chase Briscoe right now, because obviously when you see it on the track, that's the difference. That's the difference, guys. When you see it on the track, when it translates into wins, when it translates into second place finishes and just good runs overall, right? And yeah, Lynn saying Truex was checked out this time last year. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah,
but
he was.
But yeah, I mean,
he was already
fishing. Bass Pro Shop had already given him a nice little plot of lake out there in the middle of nowhere. So, but yeah, that's the difference. Like when you see it with your own eyes, when you're witnessing the wins and the second place finishes and all of that stuff, that's when you can change your opinion on somebody or whatever. But like, you have to recognize first that that's going to happen. And if it doesn't happen, then I'm not backing anybody that doesn't show me with my own eyes. I know who I'm talking about. But all right, this is the way though, that if this happens and if your favorite driver out there ends up winning this race, whether it's the whatever or the whatever, I'm not going to say it because I'm not getting you guys all riled up. But how about winning car number? Over 19.5. I'm taking this because it's a plus money, right? Plus 120 is the number for the winning car number. So then who do you get? Well, you get Marcus's favorite driver. You got Christopher Bell in that mix. Josh Berry, who Cody likes. And so, that could be you get Logano if he accidentally wins. You get Bubba Wallace. You get William Byron. And then let's see, you get Tyler Reddick if Tyler Reddick accidentally decides to win. You get Bowman. You get Gibbs. You get Joey Gase, who somebody was talking about. I think it was Brian earlier in the chat. You get Michael McDowell. You get Carson Hocevar. You get Shane Van Gisbergen. You get Daniel Suarez. But honestly, really where I'm focusing is more along the lines of that Bell range, that Wallace range, that Byron range, right? Those are the three heavy contenders that I think could take you home in this one. And then everybody else is just sort of icing on the cake. I get it that underneath this 19.5 number, are some pretty heavy hitters as well. But we just talked about Ross Chastain, Austin Cindric, top 10 car maybe. I don't know if he's going to win. Austin Dillon, Noah Gragson, no. Kyle Larson, maybe. But boy, there's a lot of unhappy people with Kyle Larson right now. Brad Keselowski, Justin Haley, Chase Elliott, which, again, I talked about earlier. Dylan, Hamlin, Blaney, Allmendinger, Buescher, Briscoe. Like, bet on any of those guys outrights if you really feel like one of them is going to win, because I don't want to take a pick at minus money for one of those guys to be the winner of this race. So give me one in particular I know is going to be one of my outright picks above it. So I figure double down on that one. So winning car number over 19.5 at plus 120.
Oof, this is a tough one, Rod. Blaney, Hamlin, Larson, Elliott, all these guys under that number, along with some others. I think you're going to be sweating.
I mean, maybe, but like I said, I feel like if there's sweat to be had, I'd rather
just go under. Yeah, this is a loss. Sorry. You're going to have to grade it that way. So, all right, Rod, on to the outright section of the program. I'm going to be straight up with you guys. I had Christopher Bell in here at plus 425 as my favorite to win this race. I was going to eat the chalk and take him, but I've changed that pick. I took Christopher Bell out, and David wants to know where the Austin Dillon love is. It's not in this portion of the show. I peeked at him top 10. I went with the teammate instead. Definitely he could. This is one of those tracks he could pop up on. We've seen him on some similar tracks pop up. Number wasn't great. I think it was like 4-1. Just couldn't pull the trigger. But anyways, okay. Christopher Bell took him out plus 425. Instead, Rod, I'm going to bet on Joe Gibbs Racing as a team to win this race at 2-1. Basically, I'm going to discount Bell from plus 425 down to 2-1. Then it also is going to help me double up if Chase Briscoe wins, because of course I've got him winning in the car lift. So I'll double up if he wins. It covers me with Denny Hamlin, who I love having coverage on with how hot he is right now, right? And it'll double me up if Ty Gibbs wins, because we're going to get to that in a second. So I think all four of these cars extremely capable of winning this race. Bell, great at these short flats. Been a little bit hard to trust lately, as you kind of made the point earlier in the head-to-head against him. So I think this is a great way to get in on him without completely being in on him. You got Hamlin there. Briscoe, I obviously love. And then topping it off with Ty Gibbs, I'll take it right if he ends up winning too. So give me the JGR team to win at 2-1. That's over on Caesars. Chase Elliott, you can get it 11-1 just about everywhere. He's just a hard guy to quit right now. I think you made the point earlier. He's been hot lately. He's been running well, coming off of that dominating performance at Dover. If we think some of that can transfer off into this race, I would love to see it. I think at 11-1, he's kind of a guy that makes sense here. He was great last year here. Top 5 all day long. Only led one lap. He didn't really, I don't think he ever really contended for the win per se, but third place, right? He's always right there to capitalize if the right things happen. And if they can get the pit strategy to work out to get him out front, we'll know he'll be able to hold on to a race like that. That's the problem, right? Because that's what they didn't do at Dover. That's what they didn't do at Kansas. But he's had some opportunities. I think 11-1, still a good enough number for a guy that's been as hot as Chase Elliott is here lately, and good at some of these style of tracks. Josh Berry, another guy I like, Rod, 25-1 over on BetMGM. I know there was some discord in the Discord about some people on him, some people are not. He can be a little bit hit and miss, and I think that's why maybe the outright is just the way to take him. I was hoping for a good top 10 number. It's like minus 160, so not really worth it. The top 5 I peaked at, but just couldn't quite pull the trigger when you're getting great numbers on a guy like Denny Hamlin. Instead, I'd much rather have that, right? So I think Josh Berry could win this race, and at 25-1 on BetMGM, it's worth it. 28th at Dover a couple of weeks ago, not a good showing, right? But 4th place at Phoenix in the spring, 24th last fall. No, that was in the 4 car, of course, but finished 3rd at New Hampshire in the fall last year as well. Here at Iowa, had a good run. They used some strategy to get up front, led 32 laps, battled back and forth with Buescher for a while for the lead, ends up finishing in 7th place. We've seen him run well at Richmond before a couple of times. That's kind of a little bit of a farther comp, but you could still throw it in this basket. This is his type of thing, right? Shorter, flatter tracks, late model guy. We've seen speed in the 21 car. Execution's not always been there. They haven't been perfect, but 25-1, I think this is the way to get it on Josh Berry. And then Ty Gibbs is 40-1 on FanDuel, Rod. I know he's not won a race. I am fully aware and understand this, but 40-1 when his teammates are some of the favorites in this race. Bell, the favorite or co-favorite, depending on the book. Hamlin's not far behind. Briscoe's underrated, but he's my favorite for this week. It's just way too big of a number for a guy capable of putting together a good run. Overall, would I like to see more on short flats from him? Yes. Has his performance been great every week? No. If he's not good, he's 40-1. But Dover a couple of weeks ago, when we had all those outrights finish in the top 5, had him at a long shot. He was right there in 5th place at the end of the day. And he's got Chris Gabehart on the box, calling the race for him. A strategy race this week. I really like that. At 40-1, he's worth a shot to win.
Yeah. So, yeah, good job on Elliott. Good job on JGR team.
And, okay, Brian, Ty Gibbs is not winning. Like, okay. I mean, is it shocking if he doesn't? He's 40-1. Could he be put in the situation? Does he have a fast enough car to do it? Is it worth a little sprinkle at a big number? This is a hard concept for some people, Rod. Long shots are not supposed to hit. That's not how it works. But if it's got a chance, if you can believe in it, there is a very clear path to how it could hit. Give me a
Once upon a time, I believed I could be 6'1", and I believed that as hard as I possibly could. Unfortunately, it just never came to fruition, so I never cashed that bet. All right, speaking of long shots, William Byron, 9-1. He's not a long shot, but I think 9-1 for William Byron. We have talked at length about William Byron's summer slump. Well, the summer is still going strong. I understand that, and it's still sort of summer slumping, but sometimes a slump can be broken by, or at least just temporarily paused on a track in which you've done well already. And William Byron finished second here last year to Ryan Blaney. And I think something like that with William Byron, I know that he's not been the greatest lately. It's not been all roses for him. 16th last week at Indy after starting 6th. Like, I mean, he's starting fine, right? 3rd at Sonoma, 5th at Dover, 6th at Indy, but 16th finish for him last week, 31st the week before that. He crashed out. He's DNF'd in 3 of the last 5 races, unfortunately. 37th at Atlanta, 40th at Chicago. But we all know how good William Byron is, right? He's 12-1 over on Bovada. Whew, man, that's fantastic. William Byron, 9-1 on DK. Again, this is one of those situations where he finished second here last year. So he's proven that he can be a contender in this one. We already know after 3 wins this year that he is as good as I'm sorry, 1 win. I'm looking at 2024. At 1 win this year, that he can find himself in victory lane, right? Got himself a couple of poles. He's average start of 11.4, but no one needs to tell you that William Byron can read or can win a race, because he can. And it's just a matter of him being able to get the car to do it and to be able to put together the strategy calls and make the right moves in the car to get it done. So, and then, yeah, Brian Twiney says, Byron's taking Tyler Reddick's seat as the weekly bridesmaid. I mean, honestly, at some point it will have to stop. But like I said, the summer slump every once in a while takes a pause. And on a track where he finished second last year, I think one more place advantage for him is not too far-fetched to ask. And especially at 9-1, that's a gigantic number, given the fact that Ryan Blaney can probably end up winning this race. Neither one of us gave him as an outright based on recent performance for him in that one too. I would like Blaney as well, but I think Blaney was too short for me, which is why I stayed away from him.
Yeah, he's like plus 425 a lot of places. He's co-favorite.
Exactly. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like, for what it's been lately, I think taking a chance on William Byron at 9-1 is a decent enough chance to take.
I'm just not. So I'm off of the Byron summer thing. I think we've seen enough good finishes here lately that's not really the case. But there's still something going on in Hendrick. I mean, Chase Elliott's been clearly the best car in the Hendrick camp for a few weeks, which is concerning because Larson and Byron should have that title most of the time. And like Larson, yeah, I get it. He finished second last week, but again, it wasn't really a Larson-esque performance. Like, he didn't look that good. He wasn't dominating like he's been. We haven't seen that out of Byron lately either. They've had good runs, and they put together good runs and decent finishes because they're good race car drivers in good cars, but I just haven't seen the great cars we are used to seeing out of those guys. But that could turn on a dime at any point in time, and quickly change. And maybe
and that's the thing with proven winners, right? I mean, it doesn't. If I tell you that William Byron can win a race, you can't tell me no. You can't tell me, oh no, he's not capable, because he's won, and he's won a lot. And so for William Byron to be 9-1 to win a race, that's a really good deal. I know that there's a lot of stuff that's gone against him lately, but he can win a race. He's won a race. So I love that. All right, get out your pen and paper. It's time to go over our bets for this Iowa Corn 350 powered by ethanol. Get out your pen and paper. And of course, for those of you on the YouTube, time to screenshot. I started you out with Chase Elliott over Christopher Bell at +110. I chose Bubba Wallace to finish better than Josh Berry, Ty Gibbs, Carson Hocevar, and in turn win Group D at 3-1 over on DK. I also said that you can find his top 5 number at +650. I would grab that too if you're feeling good about Bubba Wallace. I also said Austin Cindric would be a top 10 car at +280. Ryan Blaney, top 5 car, -120. Said the winning car would be over 19.5 at +120. And I said William Byron would be that car to finish in the winner's circle. Cody gave you Chase Briscoe over Ross Chastain at -150. Tossed in Hamlin as a top 5 at +125. Busch top 10 +160. Bowman top 10 +250. Gibbs top 10 +220. Stenhouse top 10 12-1. Briscoe car lift top 10 at even money, top 5 at 3-1, top Toyota at 7-1, to win at 19-1. The Brisket. I'm hungry. Briscoe Hamlin dual forecast at 30-1. He took JGR to win this race at 2-1, or Elliott at 11-1, or Berry at 25-1, or Gibbs at 40-1 to win the Iowa Corn 350 powered by ethanol. Yeah. And look, for those of you who are curious, if you would have made every wager from the show last week, you still would have ended up profitable. Just saying.
And we hit the outrights in trucks and Xfinity.
Yeah, that happened too. I forgot about that. So yeah, if you took everyone from the Cup show, you would have made money. And if you look, and I hit 2 of 3 in the trucks and the outright. And yeah, I just whatever, guys. Take them or leave them. We're here to just give them to you.
Not gonna waste any more info on them. And Lynn says, "Damn it! Now I want brisket." And yeah, if Briscoe cashes this weekend, the car lift, we're having some fucking brisket. Let's go.
All right. Hey, listen, thanks to everybody in the chat for joining us. This was a fantastically crazy packed show, but we're glad you stuck with us through it to the end, as you do every week. Everybody, we love you all so much, and we'll be back tomorrow with the Xfinity Series because trucks are off this week, unfortunately.
Yeah, full Xfinity show for you tomorrow. Excited for that. Of course, Austin Dillon will be in that field along with Ross Chastain and some others. So we will have plenty to talk about. Playing us for 2:00 Central Time, assuming they get odds to us. Hopefully they will. But yeah, we'll see everybody then. Shout out to all of you for listening and supporting us. We greatly appreciate it. All right, Rod, you can follow and support me over on the X at Husker_Zeeb, where you can find all of my work, and there is plenty of it over there. Yeah, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.
Yes, sir. Follow me on Twitter at RJ Villagomez. Link in the about everything I got going on, whether it's here. Make sure you're checking out In Between Media. Seth and Elliot holding it down for you this week as they talk about Iowa. And then go over to the IBT channel. I got a chance yesterday to talk with my buddy Steve. We were talking about SummerSlam, WWE style. I know I haven't brought it up in a very long time, but if you want to hear all about my SummerSlam takes, they're over there on the In Between Media channel. And then, of course, as always, there's CFL picks, there's League of Legends picks, there's about to be I never knew that disc golf was on Underdog, so now all of a sudden there's going to be disc golf as well. So much stuff to be had. Follow me on Twitter. Love you guys. We'll see you tomorrow with the full Xfinity slate. And until then, let's go racing and let it ride.